All right, it's March 23rd, 2021, Tuesday, and we're in the pre-market session. Pre-market for the stock market. Futures, of course, trades all throughout the night. I'm actually showing you Friday's trading. I'm sorry, Monday's trading. Monday, we had a great day in the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ futures just trended higher pre-market, and then throughout the day, I did take profits. I had six contracts going into the night, that is through the weekend and into Sunday night, and then Monday morning, the NASDAQ futures were higher, so I sold one contract pre-market, and then uh, during the trading day, as the market continued to show strength and continued to rise, just took a steep climb there. And I sold off three more contracts, and I held on to the last two. We peaked up here and then came back down, and then we were down after hours. However, we're showing strength again, and we've come back up to near where I sold those contracts, near the same level, right there. So I sold at you can see that I sold at 1381, 1360, and then a little bit lower, 1330, 1330. So we are currently close to the 1380 range, and my hope was that we would get a pullback today so that I could get those contracts back. But right now we're right around where I sold the fourth contract. I still have two contracts, and see, I have a profit now. And the milestone that I achieved was that my account has gotten back to the highs that I had a month ago. I'm back at the 44,500 range. That was the highs that I had in my account prior to the sell-off in mid-February through early March, and we're still in March. So my account's been as low as 28,000. I'll call it 30 because it just touched on 28,000. At least I saw the number 28, but legitimately, I think the low was around 30. But still, off from 44.5 to 30, that's quite a drop. That's almost a third of the account that dropped. And so I'm very happy to be back at the top at 44,500 range. And even with two contracts, if we just continue higher, I'll continue to make money. But I do plan to buy more contracts. But I may do more scalp trading right now than holding swing position, or a lot of contracts in swing positions, simply because I think there's still going to be quite a bit of volatility in the market right now, with the concern of inflation and the potential for the Fed to make difficult decisions regarding their stance on the economy, and maybe being less aggressive with all the support that all the liquidity that they're providing to the market right now, and all the stimulus, all the and the zero rates. They may start hinting towards when they might start raising rates, or what might lead to a rate hike. And if the economy overheats, or if there's a sense that the economy is overheating, then there's going to be a little bit of panic in the markets, and we're going to be in for some marked volatility. So I'm expecting to see some volatility from between now and who knows when, for now and the rest of the year, and certainly probably even to the next year, and who knows when it's going to stop. There's so much uncertainty out there, uncertainty about the virus, these new variant strains, Brazilian COVID and UK COVID, and there are African COVID. There are variant strains, and they're not necessarily, you're not necessarily protected with the vaccine. So and there are places where cases are increasing rather than decreasing, despite all the vaccinations that are being provided. So that's uncertainty. That's concerning. There's concern of inflation. There's concern of the economy overheating. There's concern about what's going to happen with taxes, with taxes being raised by the current administration. So a lot of uncertainty out there, and a lot of things that could rock the market. So it's not going to be an easy road to riches. It never is. There's always something going on that's concerning about the market. There's always worry out there. So this is a tough game to play. It's the chess match of your life. You no matter how much you study the board, you're playing against a master computer, and that's what this market is like, a master computer that can read moves, many moves in advance, and you have a human brain that, despite how complex our brains are, there's some limitation there. Human against machine is what it feels like when you're trading against this market. When you're trading futures, boy, you really feel it. Feel like these futures can read your mind. You make a trade and it goes against you immediately sometimes. But with experience, you can get better with increasing your odds of having a favorable outcome, and that's my goal with trading these futures, is to continue to improve, to continue to get in at times that are more favorable for me to have a successful outcome, and to reduce the number of times that I'm in when when I'm holding large number of contracts when the market's moving drastically against my positions. So it's better, in my opinion, to miss out on some of the big gains than to get in and sit there and ride the roller coaster down and just lose all kinds of money, and then having to work like a dog to get it back. And that's what's happened to me over the last month. I pretty much rode this market down, and it was a blessing that things turned around and I was able to ride it back up. But I want to get better at having very few contracts in when we're headed south, and beefing up those contracts when we have a strong market. So it's looking strong today. I'm gonna be careful though, because I'm again kind of savoring the moment of my account being at its highs again, and I do have some other holdings. I've got TQQQ in my stock and um, options account. So if NASDAQ continues higher, that will make money. So even with me only holding two contracts in the NASDAQ right now, if we go higher, I'll make money on these two contracts and on TQQQ. If we pull back, my losses will be minimal with the two contracts compared to what I've had in the past. I've had sometimes as many as 10 contracts, sometimes more than that. So I don't mind a pullback with only two contracts. My other account will take a hit with that, but I take some protective measures in my other account too. For instance, Airbnb. I actually have Airbnb in my retirement account. That's a long hold, like a permanent hold. I'm going to hold that forever. Um, and it's not that much, but I have 125, but I'm going to be adding to that. So Airbnb continues to pull back. If it ever goes under 180, I'll definitely be adding more. But what I do with that, for instance, yesterday, Airbnb was up $7 at one point early in the trading day. And so in my stock and options account, I set up a bear call spread. So I sold the March 26. I sold a March 26 call. I sold 5 calls. I think it was 5 calls expiring March 26, and I forget the dollar amount, but it was like 122, something like that. Yeah. So Airbnb was trading at 107, and I sold the 122 calls that expire on March 26th, and I bought some way out of the money calls in order to set up the spread. I guess they were the 138 or 137 or 136 calls that expire on the 26th, and Airbnb pulled back. They were barely up by the close of the day. They were over 200 early in the day, and at market close, Airbnb was only slightly up, and it was trading at 195. And as you can see this morning, it's still at 195, 195.8. And so that bear call spread, just made money. I'm still in it. I'll just let it expire because I don't think Airbnb is going to get to 222 by the end of by Friday. So I'll make money on that, and if Airbnb is up at all, my retirement account will benefit. And even if Airbnb goes beyond 122, my retirement account make plenty of money. But I won't lose but so much with the bear call spreads. And I would get out before it reached 122. I would either get out or roll into the next week. with the higher strike price, bear call spread. Because again, Airbnb, I am a long-term holder of that, but I think just like the market, it's going to be volatile because right now the world is opening back up kind of play, and it's a leisure and hospitality leisure industry. So it's going to have its ups and down days. It's not going to be up every day, and one day it might fly higher, but then it's going to pull back, and it's going to be choppy for a while. And that is until we really get a handle on this COVID situation. We're not quite there yet. Well, that's all I have for this morning. Looks like it's going to be a good trading day. The market's not just going in one direction; it's kind of going up, coming down. So there may be some opportunities. I'm going to be looking for some scalp trades today for sure. And I plan to be careful, and I hope you all do the same. Be careful with your trading. The market will take your money as if it belongs to them. So trade wisely.